Tell us where we at right now.
We are in my tree house.
This is a tree house. You got a tree house studio.
Yeah, this is where I made Divide and where I now do all my sort of work. While we're here, let me play you some number 5.
Number 5.
Number 5.
That was your original collaboration project.
Yeah, 2000 and oh god, I want to say 10, but it actually came out first week of 2011.
So this is before like you was popping.
Yeah, this is actually what made me pop.
How do you think that shit held up?
I mean, it's still one of my favorite projects I've done.
Okay.
I'll play one other one.
From the top. And that's the project that got you signed, number 5.
Yeah. Well, I basically did 5 EPs before I got signed, and because I was into so much stuff, much like with the project here. I was influenced by so much stuff. So I had one record that I just did fully with the band. The next record was like what my first album pretty much ended up being, and then I did one that was just completely acoustic, that was all written with this one girl as a duet, and then I did a live DVD and a live album of all of those, and then I did this. So this was number 5 of the EPs, and it was kind of like the momentum of all of those that ended up getting me signed.
Was your thought process the same when you made number 5? Like, yo, I'm just gonna work with artists that I like? Or back then you could only get the artists you could get because you wasn't like
because at this point, Evelyn, Wiley, P Money, JME, Michael Payne, Getz, Random Impulse, Sway, Wretch, Dot Rotten, they were all top of their game. And it was like I actually had to like do a lot of convincing because I was quite, I was a new artist. But what I'd do is I'd just turn up at like the studio with them, and then I was just persistent. It was just like, we have to do a song, and then made it happen.
You had a DJ Khaled level of annoyance.
Yeah, but I think I've had that same thing on this one, number 6, just because you have to be persistent, you have to be on people to make it happen.
So this one got you signed. What do you hope this project does, the number 6 then? What do you hope the number 6 does for you?
When I made this, it wasn't like I'm gonna get signed by making this. I made this because it was so much fun to make, and it was all the artists I wanted to work with, and I made these songs that I was just so proud to play my friends. And it's pretty much the same with this one. If I was like, oh, well, it's going to help me do this and help me do this, the fact is I've already achieved more than I thought I could. Mm-hmm. So right now I'm at a point where I'm just having fun.
Bruno Mars and Ed.E.R, 2 kings of pop. Why the hell y'all did a rock record?
Because exactly that. Exactly. I think people do not expect that. Anytime I play that to anyone, the first chord, instantly people go, instantly, and I love that. What kind of rock is that? I mean, school me. What is that? Heavy metal? What is it? Yeah, I think it would just be rock, classic rock. I mean, we did loads of songs and loads of different things, but we ended up on that song, and it was purely by accident with having Chris Stapleton, and he just seemed the most interesting.
So nobody said, hey, we should do a rock song? It was just...
No, well, I mean, Chris had the riff. Chris was there, and then, what was it? And he played us the riff, which is a... And then we were like, oh, let's write a song about that. Bruno took it away, and unbeknownst to me, him and Chris had got together and fucked with it a lot. Throughout my whole career, I've never had an excuse to get a band, and now that's an excuse to maybe tour with a band, because I think playing that live would be different level.
I've seen you live a couple times. That would be difficult for you on stage with just the guitar trying to do that. You think you can pull it off?
Oh, well, I had an idea to do both. I think, people like my loop pedal, and no one's seen with a band, and I think you could have a show that incorporates. I think it's time to have a show that incorporates both of them, personally.
How long have you known Bruno? Because I feel like y'all have had similar paths.
I met Bruno in 2010, but I opened up for him at iTunes Festival. Yeah, in 2011. And then, I don't know, we just hung out. I went and guested with him a couple of times on tour. We've had nights out together.
It seems like y'all got an organic chemistry together.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's a phenomenal writer. I mean, he's written so many other songs. Like, he did the CeeLo Green Fuck You, and like, God, I don't know. So yeah, Bruno's just like, he's just a talented writer, and he's so musically talented. He's played every instrument on that. Played the drums, played the bass, played the guitar. Like he's like different level in the studio.
You really respect songwriters, man.
Like it's like the same thing. You were listening to Howard Stern yesterday, and Howard Stern is like one of the greatest radio personalities. You gotta look at your peers and the people you look up to, and you know, I have a great respect of people that can do things that I can't do.
But I was shocked to find out that you get no help with your writing. Like you write everything yourself.
Lyrically, yes, but I think I need a lot of help with production and making songs, you know, and there'll be songs like the A-Team and Perfect and stuff like that I'll just go in and I'll do 100% myself, whereas there'll be a song like Galway Girl, which is quite a collaborative thing. I'll go in with a folk band and then we'll all write it together with the folk band, but I would write the lyrics for that and then it would be shaped in it, basically.
Did you look at other artists different when you find out they don't write their stuff?
Only if they have nothing to do with it. I need to write songs to make me feel better about myself. You get out all your demons in music and then it kind of clears out your head. It's like
therapy.
It's exactly therapy.
I saw Elton John call you one of the best songwriters of this generation.
That's very kind of him. I don't know. I like writing songs, but I feel like I'm improving day by day. By going in the studio with people like Chris Stapleton and Bruno Mars, you're just expanding your palette and learning new things.
I think you're growing by just living life. Like the older you get, the more experiences you get.
But you can't become better unless you around people that can teach you things. If I just worked in the studio, things would start sounding a bit stale after a while. Which is what's so great about doing this collaborations project is I've worked with so many different people and seen how like Bruno's process versus Travis Scott's process versus like Chance's process. We'll get onto it, but he literally puts a mic up and he just has the verse repeating. And he's just there in the studio, and it starts off as a mumble, and then like words go in every now and then like the first sentence is done, but the rest are mumble, and he'll just do it over and over and over again, and then the verse is done. It's the most amazing thing. I've seen people do it line by line, but in terms of like he's memorizing all his mumbles and the cadence of the mumbles, and then thinking of the lines, and then memorizing the first lines, and then getting to the end. Like there was no point that he stopped. Mm-hmm. It was just 2 hours of that, and then the verse was done, which was a completely different thing for me to see. So I'm learning stuff like that every day, and since then have tried putting I mean I can't do it yet, but putting songs together where you find a melody and then you mumble the words and keep going and then it starts to fit. So it's like learning stuff every day from people.
So what you learn from Bruno, since you look at him as another amazing songwriter, was there any tricks you got from him that could make you better?
We kind of have the same approach for a lot of things, you know. You throw a lot of ideas at the wall. His ideas are just different to mine. When I was in there, he was like, look, the reason we're working together is we're both trying to get something from each other, and if you just play the usual chords that you do, you might as well just be working on your own. So what would work is your melodies and lyrics over this, and then if you have some chords that would go over this, then my melodies and lyrics go over this, and then that's what makes it interesting. So that chorus on the Blow song is, you know, a mixture of Chris, a mixture of me, and a mixture of Bruno, and it all kind of came together like that, basically.
Do you find yourself battling him?
Oh yeah, massively, yeah. Yeah, the amount of arguments where we're just kind of like, you know, I think at the time I think he had 2 diamond singles at that point and I had 1. And he was just like, but I've got 2 diamond singles, and like there'd be kind of like back and forth like that, and then the next time I went in with him I'd got 2 as well, so we'd kind of had a battle on that front.
First world pop star problems. Jesus Christ.
I know.
What's next?
South of the Border.